All right, Counselor Skordas, why do you believe that this is a set of directives to fabricate testimony?
Because, Chris, think about it. You're in custody. You're trying to get ready for trial. You need somebody to come and tell a narrative. You call them, or you call their mother, or whatever you do, and you say, hey, reach out to Ronnie. Tell him I need him to tell the truth. I need him to tell the jury or the judge or the investigators what happened on this trip to Mexico. He needs to come forward and say that. Instead, she says, he needs to say this. She actually outlines the narrative. And if you look at the beginning of the letter, she even tells mommy to make sure that you talk to Ronnie really slow and make it real easy for him. Don't make it too confusing. I mean, on a good day, Chris, this is coaching of a witness, which is highly inappropriate. But really, it's witness tampering. What she's trying to do is create a narrative that's not true. I mean, just reach out to the witness and say, hey, I need him to tell the truth. I need him to tell about that trip to Mexico, instead of spoon feeding him every word he needs to say to fit her narrative. And she even goes through it and says, my attorney thinks the way to win this is to prove A, B, and C. So tell him to say A, B, and C. I mean, that's not the way you conduct a trial. And that's not the way you prepare for a trial, or you talk to people who may or may not be helpful to you in a trial itself.
2 points in assessing what this was about. One, we can't answer here. One, we can. The one we can't is why would she think she could get a letter out of a holding cell without it being reviewed? And if she wanted to be sneaky or deliver a message, why would she write it when, if she's going to mail it, she knows they're going to look at the mail? But we don't know where her mind was on it and what her intentions were, but that will be argued. The second point is, did the deceased have a history of drug use or abuse, depending on how you want to look at it?
To answer the second question, no. There's no history of that. There's no evidence of that. There's no documentation of that. There's nothing in his family history or anyone who knows him that would ever corroborate a drug or alcohol problem. With respect to the first part, Chris, look, what she is alleged to have done, even in the prosecution's motion, is she writes these letters, she holds them up so that when people come and visit her, they can read the narrative. They can find out exactly what she is saying. Because if you speak while you're in the jail and you're having an interview like you and I are, the jailers can listen to it. But the conversation is otherwise private. You can hold up the letter and you can tell mommy everything she needs to tell Ronnie, all the narrative she needs to fill in the blanks for this cockamamie story, and then shred it afterwards. I mean, there's no expectation of privacy to letters that you have when you're in the jail. She has it hidden in a book, and she claims it's attorney-client privilege, which is absolutely not. I mean, she thought she could get away with it, and she thought that she could somehow show that letter to her mother and get that narrative out and get that story told in front of a judge or jury, knowing that it's not true.
Counselor Skordas, thank you very much. I appreciate your take on this issue. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.